So, as you all know, my name is Julie Deanne. I am a certified transformational life dream builder coach and illumination guide. And I am thrilled to be presenting to you this brave thinking, 3 keys to achieving success and living an extraordinary life. You will get powerful processes today that go deep into how to bust through the blocks and self-sabotaging behaviors that are blocking you from moving forward in any area of your life where you would like to see improvement. So I like to start out with this cute little story about a mother mouse. You may remember it from before. But essentially, this is a story that illustrates the power of what you're learning today, which is the language of success. So a mother mouse was leading her 3 babies through a house when, as they rounded a corner, suddenly she froze because there, across the room, was a cat, and they locked eyes. And the mother, she started to get scared and backed up because the cat started to bare its teeth and started slowly moving towards the mice, preparing to pounce. And so the mother, frantic to protect her babies, she did the only thing she could think of. She raised up on her hind legs, she put her little forepaws up way high in the air, and then, in a voice as loudly as she could muster, she said, "Ruff, ruff!" And the cat got scared and startled and ran away. And then the mother mouse turned to her babies and she said, "Now, children, let that be a lesson to you. Never underestimate the power of learning more than one language." And I love this story because today you are learning this powerful language, the language of success. And this is a language that is required for achieving the dreams and the goals and results that you want in any area of your life. And not only are you learning this language of success today, you are learning the system of success. I call it the blueprint for success because it's been developed over the past 40 years by Mary Morrissey, who founded the Brave Thinking Institute. This is the system for success that's based upon the principles that every successful person, whether consciously or not, has followed to achieve their goals and dreams. And wonderful people just like you and I can do the same thing. So, for example, I like to point out that the language of success is just like when you are going into the medical field or, say, engineering, law, sports, art. There is a jargon, right? There is a language that is used in that trade or in that field that is specific, and you need to learn that language in order to succeed and be able to converse, with authority in that field. This is very similar to that, but it's the language of success. So it's the process, the blueprint for achieving success. Let's see here. Okay, so who here has a dream or has a goal, something that you'd like to achieve, something in your life you'd like to improve, right? That's why we're here, right? Absolutely. Wonderful. Okay. So my intention for today is to provide you with 3 tools to help you achieve those goals and dreams, to gain greater clarity on what those goals and dreams are, and feeling more confident in your ability to achieve those goals and dreams. So, can you think of a goal or a dream that in the past, when you first had it, you had no idea how in the world you were going to achieve it? Right? You could think of that, right? There was a time when you were like, oh my gosh, when I was a kid and I saw someone riding a bike and I thought, wow, that looks amazing. I don't know if I could ever do that. But then you took a step, right? So if you can think of a goal or a dream that you had, you recognize that just because you didn't know how to do it doesn't mean that you couldn't, right? And that illustrates that you are capable of far more than you know. Each one of us is. We have that power within us to achieve those goals and dreams by taking one step at a time, right? Wonderful. Okay. So the thing is, our goals and dreams are often born out of the challenges we're facing or some pain that we experience, right? Now, these challenges, by the way, these aren't stop signs. They're qualifiers. In other words, when we feel a longing or a discontent, we have a goal or a dream, that's our spirit, our soul telling us that we are meant for something more, right? And here's the important thing that I learned a couple years ago. When I learned this, that really changed the way I perceived things. If you think about it, if you have a goal, if you have the idea for something that you want, the desire, that means there is a small corner of your mind that believes that you are capable of achieving it and that you deserve to achieve it. So the goal then is for you to listen to that desire, listen to the whisper of your desires, and then grow that small corner so that it grows from being a possibility to a probability to an inevitability. That's what we're doing here today. We're talking about, what are the challenges that you're facing or the pain that you're experiencing, and how to listen to those desires and start growing that and fanning the flames of that desire. Because these two energies, the longings and the discontent, these are the two energies that are essential for creating new results in your life. So I'll just tell you, my story was, I'll never forget the day. This was, oh my gosh, what was this? About 20 years ago, 25 years ago. I was sitting in my car and I had just left the university. And at the time I was married. My husband was he was working on his dissertation or something. So I had talked with him, but he told me that he had to spend the rest of that day. It was a weekend working on his project. And so I decided that I was finished at the library with my studies. I was going to go home. So I remember sitting at the light in my car, and all of a sudden I just started feeling really, I don't know, I've never felt this way before, really tingly, almost as if I was there, but I wasn't there. And I didn't understand why until my eyes noticed up ahead, just a few cars ahead, I recognized the license plate in the back of this van. It was my car. I mean, it was the car that my husband drove. And I knew it was our car. And I thought, wait a second, he's supposed to be at the university still doing his studies. Why is that car up there? And why is he going in that direction away from the university? So when the light turned, I quickly made my way up closer. And as I got closer to the van, I saw a silhouette of someone sitting in the passenger seat, someone with long hair. And I couldn't imagine who he could possibly be having in the car. So as soon as I could, I got my way up right next to them. And at the next light, we were right next to each other. And I pulled up, and I remember I looked over at him, and I rolled down the window and I was kind of yelling. It was a hot day. It was like summer. And I was like waving my hand, trying to get his attention. And I could see that there was a very young girl in the passenger seat. And I remember clearly, he was eating a muffin and he was about to take a bite, and he looked over just like that. And I was like motioning, let's pull over and have a conversation. And when he turned back, I leaned forward and can see the girl's face next to him. She was white as a sheet. She was so young. I'd never seen her before. I had no idea who it was. So long story short, yeah, she was not just a friend. And apparently it had been going on for a while. He'd been having an affair. And then I found out this was not the first time. And, we went to marriage counseling. We worked on all this stuff. I wound up, it still took me almost 2 years before I actually filed for divorce and left. I couldn't trust him ever again. And I just knew in my heart, I'd done everything I could, but I just would never be able to trust him again. So I filed and we parted ways. And then I came to where I am now in Virginia. And thank God I made that decision, because it was really scary. I was a Southern girl. This was the first love of my life. He and I had dated in college. We were married for almost 10 years. I had never lived on my own before, and I'd certainly never moved away with no family and friends around me. But I knew there was a part of me that was just I knew that there was more for me, that I couldn't stay stuck in a situation that was not serving me, and I couldn't keep, you know, keep myself small anymore. I had to go for bigger things. So I put in for the new job and, sold the house, left, and moved to a new place that I'd never been to before. But thank God that I did that, because now today I am where I am because I made those decisions. Let me turn that down. I got inspired to write my first children's book, and that all happened just about 4 years ago during the pandemic. And my daughter helped me write it. I also got inspired to deliver my first TEDx talk on the number one tool schools need to teach and children need to know, which is meditation. I'm passionate about meditation. That's my mission now, is to get that in schools. And then I was able to do my first live TV news broadcast and deliver for the Women Influencers Global Network Summit, this Brave Thinking workshop that you're hearing here today. So all of these things, and becoming a certified transformational life coach, discovering that I love coaching, none of this would have happened had I stayed small, had I stayed in that status quo, in the rut, and I hadn't gone for my dreams and gotten moving. So all that to say is, each of you has a dream and a vision. And that's what we're here today to light some fire under, to get some ground to it. Okay, I thought we had somebody come in. All right, so what we're going to discuss now is the results that we're creating and how we're creating this, right? There's a results formula. So, all right, so as you know, most people live their lives by default, right? You're just kind of rolling with the punches, I love how Mr. Incredible says, how does he do it? I'm rolling with the punches, baby. I'm changing the diaper and I'm fixing the boyfriend and I'm keeping the baby from blowing up into a crazy monster. It's so funny. Well, that's default. We're reacting to whatever pops up in our lives. And, there's not a whole lot of conscious planning. And most people spend more time planning a weekend getaway or a vacation than they ever spend on just looking at their lives and planning for what they truly want in their lives. That's living by default. Now, successful people, on the other hand, create their lives by design. And this means they set a clear intention for what they want, and they go for it, and they go for it, and they go for it, one step after another, because they are consciously creating what they want in their lives. And this is what we want to do. So we're going to look at the 4 quadrants of our life. We kind of look at, there's 4 major areas that most people at any given point are looking to improve, or they feel a longing and discontent in. And of course, health and well-being is a major one. Love and relationships is another one. Our vocation, and this is how we share our gifts in the world, so it may or may not be our current job. And then, of course, time and money freedom, which is my favorite. So all of these quadrants, now they all kind of dovetail together, and they affect one another. But just like when you're suffering in one area, it can often cause problems in the other areas. Improving one area of these quadrants often leads to improvements in other areas of your life. So let's look at this results formula, okay? So everything begins with a thought. That means everything that you see, everything out in the world that is man-made, of course, was first somebody's thought, right? You had to think it before you could create it. The clothing that we're wearing, the houses, the any item that you have, your toys, your books. I mean, somebody had to think up the idea and then figure out, well, how would I design that? How would I create it? What would it look like? All that stuff, right? And you had to take steps to create it. So if everything begins with a thought, then thoughts produce feelings in the body. So that thought energy produces a feeling, and those feelings we then express through our actions. And our actions, of course, create a reality. So in order to change anything in our reality out there, we have to begin by changing our thoughts in here. And what that means also is when you have that thought and you take it and you speak it out and then you write it down, that physical paper that you write your thoughts on, that becomes the first physical, tangible evidence of that thought energy. So it's very powerful. That's why journaling is so powerful. All right. So in order to create new results in your life, we have to start by noticing what we're noticing. Where is our attention? What are we focusing on? And do we want to keep focusing on that? This is why they talk about how, how you, what is it, the term rose-colored glasses, or seeing the world through a different color of lens, right? Seeing the glass half full versus half empty versus refillable. I like that one. You notice what you are paying attention to, because when you are focused on certain things, energy flows where your focus goes and it grows. And when you're paying attention to one thing, that means you're not paying attention to all these other things, which means there's a lot out there you could be missing, right? Okay. So let's start by noticing what you're noticing about those 4 areas of your life. So we're going to do a little life assessment, okay? So as I make these statements that are coming up, just jot down. This is where you might want to grab a pen and paper or something to write with. And you're just going to make a note of how fulfilled you feel in each of the 4 quadrants. But before we start that, just your life assessment of just make a note of, where you stand with these statements. So you might be a person who doesn't know what your dream is. You just know there's something more, or perhaps you have lots of dreams, but you don't know whether to choose one or create them all at once. So just make a note of which one feels true for you. And again, in each quadrant, there is a longing, there's a dream of how we would love that area of our lives to be in each of those domains. So now you're going to notice what your results are in your current health and well-being, right? So if you would, you're going to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 5, how fulfilled you are in your health and well-being. So you might be a person who feels stuck in your ability to transform your health, or perhaps you're in relatively good health, and you have no symptoms, but you just know there could be more vibrancy and energy and aliveness that you could feel. So just rate on a scale of 1 being, you're totally not fulfilled. It's terrible. And a 5 being, it's perfect. You're totally fulfilled. So where would you fall on that in your health and well-being? All right. Got that done. Okay. So moving to the next quadrant, let's look at love and relationships. So again, on a scale of 1 to 5, you might be a person who longs to have that deep, beautiful, fun, passionate relationship with a loving and caring partner, or perhaps you enjoy the person that you're with, but you would love to deepen and expand your current relationship to just have more fun. So again, rating 1 to 5 on that scale. All right. And now for vocation. And again, this is, are you really doing what you would love to do in the world? Are you expressing your gifts, right? Do you enjoy what you're doing? So you might be a person who feels stuck in a job that you don't like. Or perhaps you do like your work, but there's something about it. You work too many hours, or you don't get enough money. You just would love to have more time freedom, maybe. So noting on a scale of 1 to 5 for that one. Okay. And now time and money freedom. So perhaps you feel out of balance, like you have more time than money or more money than time, but in either way, you just love to feel more in harmony, right? I like to say everybody always wants more time and more money, right? But feeling more in balance is the key. Okay, so now that you've rated each of the 4 quadrants, I'd like to ask you to reflect upon the results that you gave yourself in each of these quadrants and without any judgment, without any, your results are simply what they are right now. So you're just paying attention to your thoughts around those results. They're not right or wrong, they just are. But now that you're paying attention, you're going to notice, what would you like more of? What would you like less of in each of these domains? So whatever your results are up until now, you absolutely do have the power within you to change those results. And the first step is awareness. So this brings us to the first key for designing your life and creating an extraordinary life, and that is designing your dream. So just like when you want to build a house, right? Well, let me go back for a second. Just like when you want to build a house, you see this blueprint on the paper in the background here? You have to design a clear blueprint, right? You have to be very specific, because if you just said, well, I want 4 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms and a kitchen. Well, there's a lot of different ways that there's an infinite number of possibilities that someone could design a house with 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and a kitchen, right? And a lot of those ways may not be what you want. So being as specific and as clear as you can be is important. And another reason for this is why. Some people say, I want a lot of money. Well, what's a lot of money? To my daughter, that could be, $50. To me, I'm talking 100,000, something. To a millionaire, it's $1 billion, right? So it's relative to everyone. And how can you really get what you want if you're not clear? Like, the universe can't bring it to you. So the other analogy I like to use is if you're aiming at a target, if you're an archer and you have your bow and arrow and you can't really see the target, or there's fog, or it's fuzzy, what are your chances of hitting it? Next to nothing, right? Let alone, you can't really hit the bullseye. But if you could see the target clearly, you'd have a better chance. But what if you had a laser sight? If you were crystal clear and you could just put it right in the center of that bullseye, it'd be hard to miss, right? And that's what we want to do with your dream. So the powerful way to figure out what your dream is, by the way, just if anybody could show of hands, does anybody know, do you have some dreams that you want to design? Great. Okay. Does anybody not know what their dream is? Okay. Well, either way, if you're having trouble figuring out what your dream is or creating more clarity there, then there is a powerful practice that you can do. And that's, it's something that I can take you through later when we could go through another clarity call, and I can take you through that. But basically you would, there's some processes we can go through to connect to your dream and connect with your intuition, your higher self, and start asking yourself, and we'll get to that in a second, powerful questions that are signals to your mind that you are looking to start moving forward, right? To no longer be pushed by pain or running from the past, but moving forward towards a goal, towards a vision. Because when you create a clear goal, you send a powerful signal to your mind that you are serious. And you're telling your mind, this is where I need to go. So that's where you need to focus. And the mind is designed to keep you alive and safe, but also to bring you solutions to the questions that you ask. So that's why that's very powerful. All right. And the other reason is here, clarity. Clarity is power. And that's what we've been going through, right? Like the example with the bow and arrow. So the question that you would ask yourself is, what would I love? You take some deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth, a couple of times. Be in a place where you can just be calm and listen to your own inner guidance. And again, breathing deeply and slowly, where you extend the exhalation for longer than the inhalation, it is the #1 way to instantly calm the body down. And when your body is calm, it sends the signal to your mind that you are safe and that you can start to, be creative. It takes you out of that fight or flight stress mode, the sympathetic nervous system. It puts you into the parasympathetic, that rest, digest, creation mode. And so that's why the breathing practice is so powerful. So when you do that, you breathe in, you breathe out slowly and deeply for longer than you inhale. Then you ask yourself, what would I love? And have a journal ready, pen and paper, and just keep asking yourself this. And over time, you're going to start getting more ideas and just add more details to it. And that's how you get clearer on your vision. As Tony Robbins says, the quality of your life is determined by the quality of the questions that you ask. I love sharing the story of JFK when he decided that America was going to put a human being on the moon. He didn't go to the scientists and ask, can we do it? He said, what would it take? And the response was the will to do it. So again, power of asking powerful questions. So now that you have these ideas of the areas that you would like to focus on in your life and what would you love, I'd like for you to pick one of the areas, pick one of those quadrants that you would like to focus on right now. And we're going to do this powerful practice called Time Machine, where you're going to imagine that it is 3 years from now. Okay. So it's now fast forward June 1st, 2027. And we'll do this in a second. And then we're going to turn around if you like, or you can just imagine it wherever you're seating. And you're going to imagine it's 3 years from now and everything has worked out in all 4 areas of your life. Okay. And focusing on whichever quadrant you want to focus or everything all at once. When we do this time machine, you're going to write at the top of your page. So you could go ahead and do that now. I am so happy and grateful now that, so you're asking yourself, well, what I love, but you're going to write at the top of your page. I am so happy and grateful now that. Now this is written in the present tense. Present tense is important because the mind doesn't know the difference between fantasy and reality. It really doesn't. And that's scientifically proven. So when you imagine something, your mind on some level thinks it's an experience. That's how we are able to learn vicariously, like through reading and watching movies and hearing other people's stories. That's why, because the mind takes all of that information in and learns from it, gets lessons, gets interpretations from that helps us in moving forward. And then we use that to help us make decisions in the future. Well, when you use present tense, you are training the mind to believe that you are now currently living your vision. So now, instead of somebody else's story or some memory from the past, you are creating like a future memory. Basically, you're creating this future memory for your brain to reference, which is important because now it's not so new. It's not so foreign. And, something new or foreign, right, to the mind is scary because, again, the mind is designed to keep you safe and alive. So something new could be dangerous. And that's why your mind typically freaks out about change. But reframing that, teaching your mind, change is always in my favor. That's one of the statements I like to say all the time. All change is good. I had to make those statements because I had to retrain my brain to understand, yes, change can be good. And so those are some powerful statements you can use. But when you get the mind familiar with your vision, then your mind is like, oh, okay, this feels kind of good. I see what you're doing here. And then you keep reading the statement that you're about to write out, and you keep, I guess it's like imprinting on your subconscious this new vision for your life, the new version of you. It becomes familiar, and therefore your mind begins to become comfortable with it, and it will start to notice things that line up with that allow you to create that reality. So when we do this practice, you're going to write, I am so happy and grateful now that, and then in present tense, write down your vision, right? I'm so happy and grateful now that I am at the perfect weight and my body feels awesome and I'm able to do whatever I want, for example. And I have the love of my life and we get to travel to Jamaica and Spain and, be specific, but keep it positive. Keep everything positive and present tense. All right. So before we get to that, all right. So now I would like to do the time machine with you. So here we go. We're just going to turn in a circle. And then when we get to the point, we get turned around or like in your head, then you can start writing. I'm so happy and grateful now that, okay? So 1, 2, 3. It's 3 years from now. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. You have an amazing life. Write it down. I'm so happy and grateful now that, go. Okay, and as you're wrapping it up, at the end of your statement, go ahead and write this or something even better still, or I like to say this or something even greater still. And that statement is very powerful because it sends an important signal to your mind and to the universe that you are open and willing to receive your vision, what you've written, or something even better, something that you haven't even imagined. All right. Congratulations. You have just done the first key to designing your dream. And you can come back later and you can add more details. You can rewrite it. And you can add in more details for all 4 quadrants, right? Write each one separately and maybe put it together. Perfect. Okay. So now this brings us to the second key for designing your dream, and that is deciding for your dream. Decision's very important, right? I mean, we have ideas about things, we have wishes, but until you commit, until you decide to do it, it remains that, right? Just a wish, just another thought in your head. So deciding for your dream. All right. Would anyone like to read this statement? Yes, Vicky, please. Go ahead. You can unmute. Go ahead.
According to research at Stanford University, it doesn't matter what order the letters in a word are. The only important thing is that the first and last letter be in the right place. This is because the human mind does not read every letter by itself, but the word as a whole.
Thank you. Absolutely. So what does this illustrate, right? You've got point A, where you are now. Point B is where you want to be, your dream. In the middle, there's this gap. But guess what? It's not really important right now, right? You can still figure out how to get there. So that's what we want to do. We want to suspend any worry or any idea about how, and we just want to focus on that end goal, that dream. Because we know where we are, we know where we're going. That's enough. It gives us direction, right? At least we're heading in the right direction. Now, the exact route we take or the exact steps we take, that will come as we start to take action. And how do we figure that out? Well, we're going to get to that. But first, yes, we decide for new results. Okay. And then this just kind of goes through. So we suspend the how for now, and we just focus on our dreams, and we keep focusing on it. And that vision statement that you've just written down, and that I'm sure you'll want to add more details to later, is very important to keep you focused on that goal and that target. Remember, every time you repeat something, the more you repeat it, it becomes a belief. And the more that you repeat reading your dream, saying it out loud, I would even encourage you to record it on your phone and just play it. Play it while you're doing chores, while you're commuting or walking, whatever. The more that you hear it and the more that you begin to create pictures in your mind about it and think about it and feel into it, the more likely, again, you're growing the possibility to a probability to an inevitability. It's literally how it happens. You start to make it so vivid, so real in your mind that you can taste it, feel it, touch it. It has to happen. It's a law of the universe. If you are thinking about it so much, it's going to happen. And the goal here, though, the important thing is you don't want to negate it. You don't want to like say, oh, I wish I could have this, but forget about the buts. No buts. That's why we say no how. Don't forget about the how. Just forget about the middle part. Just focus on, I'm so happy and grateful now that I am a millionaire. I am a millionaire creator. Whatever your dream is, now that I've lost the 20 pounds or I'm at my perfect weight. I would say more positive way. I'm at my perfect ideal weight and I feel great. And you just feel into that. All right. So that brings us to the teaching point, or key number 3, which is befriending your fear, right? So I love this part. What's the first thing that happens when you decide for that goal or dream that you want and your heart expands? And then what? That little voice in your mind goes, yeah, right. You get that? No way. That's not going to happen, right? It's all those limiting patterns of believing, all those paradigms, right? Who are you to do that? Where are you going to get the money from? Where are you going to find the time? All these roadblocks, right? Again, the important thing to remember is these are not stop signs. These are, you could call them qualifiers. I like to say, and this is why we call it befriending your fear. Your fear is there because it's trying to keep you, again, the mind, safe and alive. So this is change, right? This is something new. When you decide for something new, your mind goes, whoa, why are you changing things up? We're safe, we're alive, we don't see any reason to change. Just don't rock the kitty cart, right? But the point is, your mind is not designed to help you thrive, to help you achieve your goals, except when you start asking questions and you train the mind to start giving you the right answers that you're seeking. So basically, think of the mind as like a little child. You're teaching it that you're safe and everything's good and everything's going to turn out well. Everything's going to be okay. You just have to follow my lead. And your lead is listening to your inner strength, connecting to your heart center, connecting to your intuition, your soul, and following that guidance. And that's what you're doing here. So when these paradigms pop up, we just have to refocus on that vision, on that dream. And that's where reading your vision every day and coming into the feeling place of that is so powerful. It helps you to refocus and just tell the fear, hey, fear, I'm in charge here. I'm in the driver's seat. So you can just, zip it, get in the back seat or just, take a hike because I'm moving forward towards this goal and this dream. And that's what we do. We refocus on that. Heck yeah. There's a ton of powerful things you can do to refocus towards your dream. Every time one of these paradigms, when these doubts pops up, says, what have I found? What's happening? What am I doing? You can play music that gets you excited. You can just start moving your body, doing power poses, right? The Superman pose or the, what is it? Wonder Woman, the Wonder Woman pose. Love that one, right? You can do the bowl. Anything that will help you get back into state. And I think it's really powerful. They talk about affirmations, but I think I just saw something that Tony Robbins was calling them, what did he call them? Incantations, because when you make powerful statements like, I always achieve my goals. I'm a woman who achieves her goals. I'm always successful. I always achieve whatever I put my mind to. You couple that with body movement. So like, for example, when I do my weekly money ritual, I literally walk around my living room in a circle chanting, and I'll do, arm movements, and sometimes I'll jump, and I'll put a lot of feeling and passion into it because I want my body to feel that, to know what it feels like to be a woman, a person of increase, a woman who knows her numbers and grows her numbers. It's really important. And that's why we talk about, getting your body in motion to follow in sync with your thoughts. So here's the thing. It's normal. Everybody gets doubts and fears. I mean, even the most successful person in the world, any millionaire, Warren Buffett, Elon Musk, Tanya Marie Diamond, or whatever her name is, Whoopi Goldberg, or I'll have some other quotes later, but any successful person, we all have doubts and fears. But the important thing to remember is, just like when we were little kids, we learn to walk by falling down. The only thing is, as we get older, we forget that that's the process, right? You're not just going to go out there and hit a tennis ball for the first time and go to the Open, the French Open. It's not going to happen. You've got to train. You've got to take the steps. And you know what? Just like Michael Jordan failed, he didn't even make his high school basketball team. The power of your conviction, when you decide, again, back to decision, the second key, the power of your decision, and then taking steps, taking action towards your vision will determine 99% of your success. Not the first time that you try it, right? It's your conviction and what you really want. Every successful person has had this. So for example, Howard Schultz, right? The first time that how many loan applications do you think that he put in for his first coffee shop? I'm going to minimize this because I don't know if you can see that. Okay. Any guesses on that? It was 242 times. Oh my gosh. I don't know that I would have been able to keep going on that. It's pretty amazing. And then what about the founder of KFC, Colonel Sanders? His recipe, anybody have any idea how many times he tried to get that recipe accepted and, patented, or anyway, to make it successful? It was rejected 1,009 times. It's crazy. Oh, and Thomas Edison, I love this one. So in the 1920s, a journalist had asked him how it felt to fail 1,000 times in his attempt to invent the incandescent light bulb. You know what his response was? I did not fail 1,000 times. The light bulb was an invention with 1,000 steps. And that's exactly right. Our lives, everything that we do in our lives has a purpose. There's a lesson. It's a step in our journey towards the symphony of what we are creating, right? Think of each thing that you do as a note, or it's a practice reel, but you're creating the symphony of your life, and everything is serving that dream, because fear and failure are prerequisites for achieving great dreams. So when that little part of you pipes up and says, you can't do it, you just say, heck yeah, I can. I'm achieving this. I am moving forward, and I will achieve my dreams. And that's that part of you that wants to move, and you latch onto the part of you that wants to move forward instead of the part of you that wants to play small. Not today, fear. That's another thing you can say, or I like to say, stop. I choose not that. I choose joy, love, freedom, and I choose to move forward towards, whatever the next step is, what I'm going for. All right. So each one of you has a dream. And now you have designed your dream. You have the first key, designing your dream. You have decided for your dream, and you're now learning to befriend your fear, and powerful steps you can take to befriend your fear. Each one of you is worthy of your dream and of a life you love living. And I am honored and delighted to be supporting you in living that dream and fulfilling your dreams. And that's what called me to become a coach, was because I started achieving my goals and dreams when I did the Dream Builder program. Just like I went to this course or this presentation, just like you, and I enrolled in the program and did the full 12 weeks, and I started achieving results. That's when I got my book published. That's when I got inspired to do the TEDx talk. And then I actually joined a group to help me get that done and then practice and deliver it powerfully. And of course, and then I decided, you know what? I love coaching. So becoming a certified coach, and I'm actually in the process of becoming another certified coach with WildFit, which is a separate program on how I changed my entire health lifestyle 4 years ago as well. I'm going to be certified in that, because once you install this brave thinking program, it's a skill set. It's a new way of thinking. Your mind becomes open to seeing opportunities and things that you otherwise would have totally missed had you not decided for your dream, had you not learned the powerful principles to start achieving your dreams. Because the Dream Builder program is a 10-step program. There's 10 principles in the full Dream Builder program. What we went over today were just 3 of them, and we didn't go in real deep. We did like the basic level, surface level, but in the Dream Builder program of 12 weeks, we go in deep on each one of those points, including the other 7 steps towards achieving your goals and dreams. And this is what I would love to let you know. Wherever you are, I do love you. I support you, and I believe in you. And you are worthy of great success and of living a life that you truly love. And so for each one of you here today, because you took the time out of your day to come and share in this powerful workshop, I am offering you a complimentary free consultation. Once again, I know a lot of you have already done this, but I am delighted to offer it to you again. And we can go in deep on your vision and then start talking about any other blocks or self-sabotaging beliefs that are stopping you, or you feel like you're stuck in achieving your goals and dreams. Yes. This is my power song. Legends are made. Anybody know this one?
I've got that lightning inside me, son of a god. I'm like a titan that's rising, oh, just you watch. I'm stepping into fate. There's no time to waste. I've got that lightning inside me. This is how legends are made.
I like that one. That was powerful. Oh. I can't move forward. Okay. All right, ladies. I am ready to take questions. Would you guys like to unmute, and do you have any questions you want to ask? Let's see. I'm going to stop sharing now, if that's okay. Yeah. Okay, wonderful. All right, so.
That was a great class. Thank you so much. That was wonderful.
You are so welcome.
So going over it is good. Writing it down is good. Even though I know you're sharing the presentation, it's good to just keep, reminding yourself. Working through it.
It is. And the thing that I would definitely encourage you to do is read that vision statement, or if you create like 4 for each quadrant, that's great too. But read them every night, because you're programming your subconscious to focus on that. And when you go to sleep, your subconscious is like processing everything that's happened throughout the day. And if that's the last thing that you do before you go to sleep, it's going to be the most important thing on your mind. And so over time, you're going to start seeing, you're going to start feeling that, like throughout the day, you're going to come up with some idea that you're like, that's a neat idea. I wonder where that came from. And that's because you're programming, you're telling your mind, this is important to me. So let's start moving in this direction.
Awesome.
Really good.
I look forward to your next classes. Thank you.
Awesome. You are so welcome. Well, thanks again. Have a great, wonderful day. Thank you, Vicki. All right. You have a wonderful day too. Anybody else have any more questions? Cecily, Jeremy? All right. Well, ladies, thank you so much again for coming today. Please do reach out. Let me know if you would like to schedule a clarity call consultation, or if you just want to, just talk over some issue, some area where you feel stuck. I'm happy to do that as well. And I look forward to supporting you moving forward. Thanks again for your attendance today.
Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. All right. Well, have a great rest of your weekend.